But first, for any athlete hoping to compete at this summer's Paralympic Games, it takes hard work, dedication and sacrifice. But for one cyclist from Gaza, even getting the chance to qualify has required a Herculean effort. ITV News has been following Alaa al-Dali, whose Paralympic dream has meant leaving his family behind in Gaza in the face of war and hunger. But he isn't alone. He's being supported by 4-year-old Ahmad, who, despite losing both his legs in an Israeli airstrike, hopes one day to emulate his hero. From Italy, Rachel Younger reports on the man who's shown that even in the toughest of circumstances, the will to compete endures.
It is just before 9 in the morning, and Alaa al-Dali is about to take on the best in the world. Every competitor in this category knows about overcoming adversity, but his race preparations have involved escaping a war zone. Just getting to the start line from Gaza has taken everything he has. There is nothing this race can throw at him that will be tougher than leaving his young children behind to compete.
The trauma and the stress is absurd. They just came out of a genocide. And since we left in the last 2 weeks, they know more than 3 people that have died. And last week, he was telling me till the death, Kareem, we're gonna keep going, you know? And here he is, literally, despite everything that's happening back home, and he's competing. He has to free his whole brain for an hour and a half, 2 hours in focus. You know, knowing that his phone isn't with him, knowing that at any point he could get a phone call saying that his wife and kids have been killed, or his parents could have been killed.
Despite weeks of effort, Alaa only got a visa that meant he can race here in Italy 2 days before the event. The stress has been so much, 2 of his teammates have given up on their Paralympic dream, but he's still determined to get to Paris.
Alaa lost his leg in 2019. He was shot by an Israeli soldier in Gaza while training near a protest. He keeps pedalling because the world of sport offers a global stage where Palestine is recognised as a country. Its flags fly here with pride, not in protest. Although if any reminder were needed of the horrors endured since October, it comes in the shape of a 4-year-old supporter.
They're getting away. We need to catch them, he shouts. Irrepressible as ever, we first met Ahmed last month in Egypt. A boy with no legs, no mum and dad, but an uncrushable spirit, racing anyone he could find. One of the first Israeli strikes of the war claimed his parents. A second, just 4 weeks later, his legs. Flown to Italy with his uncle for medical treatment. This meeting shows what it means to refuse to bow to the hand you're dealt, and it's an extraordinary moment. As Alaa puts the helmet he didn't think he'd get a chance to race in on Ahmed's head, gifting him his sunglasses, through which he insists on seeing the positive. A vision he wants this little boy to share.
I will share.
Stay strong. Don't think you were born with this injury. Don't think about how you were before. Think of the future. This is the beginning of your life. Don't believe you are lacking something. Your mind is strong. This life can now give you better opportunities than the opportunities you had before.
His goal is to get a wildcard entry to the Paralympics. Back in Gaza, his first race 2 weeks ago was followed closely. But since then, his family have had to evacuate Rafah to a camp where there's no internet, and just surviving is a struggle. The aid deliveries Alaa and his teammates once helped distribute are few and far between now. He worries all the time about his young family going hungry. So while this World Cup showcases some of the toughest athletes in the world, no one here underestimates what it's all costing the Gaza Sunbirds.
It's hard enough for us to train and overcome difficulties of our disabilities, so the fact that they, for everything they're going through, can get out here and even think about competing with everything else going on, it's pretty monumental, I'd say, yeah.
Alaa tells Ahmed that one day he too could ride with the Sunbirds. And then they're off. Ahmed is one of more than 1,000 children in Gaza to have a limb or limbs amputated since the war began. Alaa wants to compete in Paris for every one of them, to prove they're not diminished, that their dreams have not been taken too. Rachel Younger, ITV News, Maniago.